Hello, everybody. Welcome to another fantastic episode of Jump In Play More. I am iChrisPanda alongside Foxxy Steve, and this is the only show that you can listen to with two eggs running off your neck.
Okay.
Yep. It's the only time that you'll be able to scramble eggs in your ass.
I do that every Sunday.
On today's episode, we have nothing. Well, thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you next week. Truth be told, we actually really do have nothing. This week has been very slow. However, Modern Warfare's campaign did drop for the newest Modern Warfare 2 release for 2022. Not the 2009 version. That was out in 2009. So, if you have yet to pre-order the game, you have yet to play the campaign. But for those early access people, like Steve and myself, we did get a chance to play it. So you'll at least get our thoughts and feedback on that. I'll also be doing a little tidbit of information on Battlefield 2042's progress, because if you are paying attention to our YouTube channel, we did talk about how it was a disappointment and how it was very sad at launch and how it was not looking good in the beta. So we're happy to report things are looking better, but you'll get more information in just a moment. And of course, you'll get everything from our Game Pass Pick of the Weeks to Guess That Game. But before we do that, we also like to have you guys remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, as we really appreciate all the positive likes we've been getting. All the feedback is very appreciated. So if you do have and leave us a comment on maybe a podcast topic or any recommendations, please do so. And of course, if you're watching, hit the notification bell so that you can stay up to date whenever we release any new videos or anything in between. And of course, for our audio listeners, there are plenty of you. We don't leave you out, and we don't make sure that you go unnoticed. We thank you for your patronage. And of course, Steve, where are they listening at?
Well, you can listen at Spotify, for SoundCloud, as well as Google and Apple Podcasts, all of those podcast services around the globe. Please be sure to give us a 5-star rating when you do listen to those bad boys, because it is the only way I can have unlimited stuffed animals.
True. So, with that being said, let's kick off the podcast. Let's start with the easy bit. We're going to talk about Battlefield 2042. Last year, Battlefield 2042 released.
Boy, did it.
And it was bad.
It was bad. It was rough.
It was awful. It was nominated as one of the worst releases and worst things of the year for video games of 2021. And it was horrible. Lots of buggy glitches and just horrible messes. Not enough information, not enough maps, not enough modes, not enough weapons. So, where does that leave us today? Recently, Steve and I were able to acquire the game for Xbox via Amazon for roughly about $12 to $15 with like shipping and whatnot and tax and all those things. Pretty damn good deal. Especially for a game you're like, we know it's still Battlefield, we know they're working on it, but at least it gives us a chance to like see if it's any better. We can happily report that the game is better.
Yes.
It is substantially better.
So much better. Like, whoa. As actually fun.
It is pretty enjoyable. I have been randomly playing with just random people, and it's been a treat. The maps are huge, a little bit lush, maybe too lush in spaces, because goddamn, sometimes I can't even see that there's a person there. I mean, it's a Battlefield, so I guess there's going to be lush trees and bushes, so that makes sense. But the gunplay feels well. Tons of vehicles, tons of unlocked paths to go down. The battle pass system is pretty well thought out and made.
Yeah, and shout out to, EA and DICE for not just abandoning this game.
I don't think it would have been a profitable decision for them to abandon the game.
Some people do. Some people cut bait and move on. Look at Anthem,
Yeah.
They cut bait and moved on from that shit.
Well, that was a much different scenario, because I think the team was BioWare, and BioWare does not particularly have a foray and background knowledge into anything huge multiplayer. So Anthem was more of a shot in the dark in the first place, and upon release they knew it wasn't good, and I think they did try to fix Anthem. I remember them trying.
Yeah.
But it wasn't enough.
It was too far gone.
It was way too far.
The train was too far out the station.
Granted, I knew Anthem was going to be bad the moment I played the beta. because I was like, I'm not super interested. Oh, I got access to the beta from a friend. Let's take a shot. And I played it, 30, 45 minutes of it. I'm like, yep, this game is bad as shit. And you know what? If this is the gameplay, nobody's going to want to play it. Boy, I called that shit. Because I was like, you people are not going to enjoy it. Like, it's not good. It can look as pretty as it want to be. The mechs can be as cool as they want to be. But let me tell you, it's repetitive and it was ass. And boy, howdy, it came out in every review. Repetitive, buggy, booty mess.
Yep.
Battlefield, much the same way. However, the people who make Battlefield. So they were like, well, we know what the problems are. We can take some time to actually fix it.
Yeah, there's a good game in there somewhere.
And, well, they did.
Yeah, they found it.
And I'm not going to lie to you. I think this is slowly shaping up to be maybe one of my favorite Battlefield games. From like the 10 hours I've spent in it so far, it's probably shaping up to be one of my favorite Battlefield games. I love the timepiece of it because it's not like super futuristic. Mm-hmm. It's just a little futuristic. So it has that very modern aesthetic, which I like. The maps are very lush and pretty. The only thing I don't like is huge conquests and how they have like, oh, here's a tornado or a tsunami's going to hit. I don't think that's cool, but I've been playing Tactical Conquests because I don't know if it's a time thing or if they're going to make it a permanent thing, but it's 16 on 16 conquests, which is much more digestible.
A lot more manageable.
I'm like, that's perfectly fine. And you still have vehicles and stuff, so that's cool. And I've been playing my favorite mode, which is Rush, because I played a lot of Bad Company, and that's the mode I like. Funny enough, there was a Bad Company map that came up.
Oh, really?
I was playing Rush, and we didn't even get past it. But you remember that Bad Company 2 map where it was like you're in the desert, and there's like a huge street, and there's like tanks here and cars, and on the other end there's tanks and cars, and you have to drive up, and then you push the rush point, and then it pivots into like a small town, which then pivots into like a naval like boat docking thing, and then that was kind of like the end of it.
I think so.
That map pulled up for me. So I'm like, oh, cool, I know this place. But my team could not stop tanks. I'm like, can none of y'all equip a fucking rocket launcher? I'm like, I have a rocket launcher. I'm shooting a tank, but my rockets don't kill a tank. I need more. There's 2 of them.
Yeah.
Hop to it.
Yeah. Like, I've also been enjoying... My main mode is Conquest, but, I don't know, Conquest in this game, it's so damn big. Even with the quadrants. I mean, I will say, them switching to having quadrants for the action, you do find action if you can spawn in on your squad.
Yeah.
And depending on what flags there are, you can spend your entire match in just one quadrant fighting for it.
Yeah.
In that damn game. So I do like that. All the quality of life stuff they've added just to make it fun. Like, I do enjoy being able to just call in a vehicle when you got them unlocked. Swapping your guns parts on the fly.
That's such a fucking blessing.
Yeah, like, that's dope.
I don't think people understand just how much of a blessing it is, but playing Battlefield and you're like, damn, this is huge. I was using a marksman rifle. So I'm like, okay, cool. There's this long area where I'm like, I could use a nice 4x scope to see these people so I can take some shots at them. Just to get some damage, maybe get some kills, and if not, just wear them off so I can progress further down the map. And I'm like, okay, cool. Pow, 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 pow. All right, I progressed further. Damn, this looks a little close quarter. I just took it off and had iron sights. It made everything so much better. That's easy pivot is like a godsend. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's dope as hell. I will say too, man, the audio is just amazing in that game. Like, you put headphones on, and like just how realistic everything sounds, and how gunshots ricochet and echo if you're in like a closed-in space, and I just really love it. Like,
yeah,
holy shit.
So yeah, Battlefield 2042, it is at a very playable place right now. Obviously, Modern Warfare 2's release is coming out, or is out, depending on when you listen to this. And they're going to be 2 very comparable games. Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer has a huge ground war-esque mode where it's like vehicles and players, and it's really fun.
Yeah, it's probably the most like Battlefield type thing they've done in Call of Duty.
Yeah, because they had Ground War in 2019, but it didn't. The maps were really bad for it.
That's fucking terrible.
Like there was one map that was just a long street.
Yeah.
It was like, this is not fun.
No,
there is no enjoyment out of this.
It
map.
wasn't fun. There were no vehicles really. It's just ATVs. There was not much else happening, and trying to get long shots on with anything was a nightmare.
Yeah. But it is coming out, and it's going to be a very high profile game. A lot of a pedigree behind it. And Battlefield will just be kind of like slowly, continually updating its gameplay. You know,
Yeah.
the Battle Pass is going to have more content to
Yeah,
it and everything like that.
I might get that Battle Pass if it's got cross. I think it has crossplay. I think it has
crossplay. I hope it has cross progression.
Yeah, I need to look into that and see if it's that cross progression. Because if it does, then yeah, I'll pick up the Battle Pass for it. Because like I'm into it. And even when COD comes out, there are Battlefield has such a diehard community of people. You're always gonna be able to find a Battlefield match.
People have been able to find Battlefield matches in
like Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3.
I know on PC it's a lot easier. I think it's Battlefield 3, which is like the one where it's like a little bit easier to find matches than like console for sure. Because Battlefield 3 on console was like 360 PS3, but on PC it's a lot easier too.
Mm-hmm.
Battlefield 4 is still getting at least they were still getting a lot of concurrent players here and there. Battlefield 1, which is, I know we talk about how like the time frame kind of is like a big draw for 2042, and Battlefield's 1 time frame was not something people ideally wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But goddamn, that game is still like rock solid, smooth as fuck to play.
Yeah,
it's so buttery.
Yeah, Battlefield 1 was actually, besides the era, the gameplay was really good.
It's so solid, and that's like, as far as like a gameplay standpoint, it's probably the best Battlefield they made because everything felt like it flowed perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
It was just that, goddamn, I don't want to play it in World War One.
Yeah.
I don't know why they thought that would be the move. It was
and then Battlefield 5, which is not what anybody wanted.
Hell no. Battlefield 5 was like if they took the idea of Battlefield 1 and somehow said, let's move to World War II now, which people were like, we really don't want you to do that. And they're like, yes, you do. And then they were just like, we're going to pivot into it, and we're going to have weird shit. Like, you can build up barracks. That's neat, right? How do you like everybody being a medic? That's neat. And it's like, you're ruining this game. And it's visually fantastic.
Yeah.
Gameplay-wise, it somehow felt less smooth than Battlefield 1.
Yeah, like Battlefield has always delivered on the visuals, pretty much. Like, especially after 3. Like, they really deliver on visuals, like, all the time. It's just... I don't think they knew what direction they really wanted to go in with 5. You can kind of feel it. Mm-hmm. You can tell.
Like, I remember when we were playing it, you guys kept calling me crazy. And like, this game's not bad. I'm like, no, this game is bad. And I'm like, this is not solid.
Then you played more of it. I'm like, ooh.
That's why I'm like, literally, you could put me in Battlefield 1 and I have more fun with it.
It didn't feel good. Like, enemy armor the tanks had way too much.
Oh my god, fucking, the freaking enemy vehicles were just... They felt too powerful.
Way too OP.
And the reason I kept saying they feel powerful is because we're in World War II, and anti-vehicle like ordnance was not like as good as it is now. So having to deal with that many tanks that frequently made for a very unfun like dynamic of gameplay.
Yeah.
And they never properly adjusted it because they wanted to have like the tanks are tanks sort of feel. And it's like, well, maybe you should have the game is the game sort of feel.
Yeah, like the balance was just way off. It was way off in 5.
Yeah, like 1 had like vehicles and shit like that too, and they did feel very, very fucking impressive. But there were fewer of them.
Mm-hmm. I feel like tanks in 2042 are pretty manageable. Like
they are.
Yeah, I got my basic rocket launcher out, and I saw a tank, and I think I got the lucky last shot on it because I got the kill for like everybody that was in them.
Yeah.
That was very satisfying. Then I got my gun out, got a couple of headshots off. Ooh, that felt good.
Yeah.
It felt good.
That's why it's pretty fun. It's a pretty fun game. It's in a very Modern Warfare-esque aesthetic. But is it Modern Warfare? Well, as we pivot, let's go to Modern Warfare 2, shall we? So recently, the campaign was released for early access. I have conquered it. Steve has conquered it. And reviews for it are very mixed bag. IGN rated it pretty mediocre. I think I saw Kotaku also rated it mediocre. But then I think I saw GameSpot rated pretty high. So, the best judgment, obviously, before we dive into our thoughts, is play it for yourself.
Yeah.
Enjoy the campaign. It is a Call of Duty campaign. You're going to enjoy what you get out of it. So hopefully, it's good for you. Our thoughts on it. Steve, how do you want to start?
Yeah, are we doing spoiler free? Or are we just popping
We'll
off?
do spoiler free.
So, okay,
I think that's an easier bet.
Yeah, that seems better. So spoiler free. I really enjoyed my time with it overall.
Yeah.
Like, I was not expecting the story to go places it went, to be doing certain things in there. Like, what you're doing in there kept me more engaged than the previous campaign did.
Yeah.
A lot of the COD games suffer from, like, you know, shooting enemies as they come out their monster closet and move up to hit the next checkpoint, rinse, repeat. And this one mixed it up more than that to keep me going. I also really enjoyed the production of it, like the fidelity of just how good all those characters look when they're talking and interacting with each other. The cinematic cutscenes look like they're pulled straight from a movie. Like, I know they captured the actual actors and all that for it, and just goddamn, like, it is impressive how they pull that stuff off. And again, the audio in Call of Duty, incredible.
Yeah, they're both first-person shooters, like primary military shooters, have fantastic audio.
Mm-hmm.
They sound different, but they also sound extremely fantastic. Like, Call of Duty's like footstep sounds have been fantastic since 2019. Like, before, you know, you could hear people come to you, so they help. But 2019, they started feeling weighty. They also felt a little too weighty because you were just like, I know exactly where they're coming from. Exactly. And I don't need to have fantastic, back in the day, Turtle Beach headphones. No. You'd be like, all right, let me just change the audio and my earbuds can pick up where you're coming from. Mm-hmm. It's like, god damn, these are some crunchy feet.
Yeah. They tuned that down a bit for Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah. And then they still had to tone it down further from the beta because people were like, yeah, it's still a little too loud.
It was still pretty intense in the beta, yeah. But just for my thoughts pretty much on the rest of the campaign, like, again, I love the places it went. There were some surprises I didn't expect. And I feel like this reimagining of it fleshes out the characters we knew from the previous games a lot more. Mm-hmm. Like, Ghost is a way more of a character, a person.
Instead of just the skeleton face mask, dude.
Like the audio you hear them talk about and stuff. The writing, I think, is really well done. Like, it was a wild ride. I mean, my biggest criticisms are kind of buggy on PC. There were some issues.
Yeah, PC players, I hate to inform you, because I don't think this runs the gamut for every PC player, but I know both of us had issues where sometimes the game would crash on us, because that's the nature of the beast that we deal with. And for me specifically, whenever cutscenes would happen, they would randomly stutter. So it would be smooth, and then it would just be really choppy, and then it would go smooth again. And I was like, okay, but it's still better than what happened to me in 2019's campaign.
Oh yeah, the cinematics in that game were totally borked.
Well, mine, because you didn't have this issue, and I remember having to tell you this, and you were like, that doesn't make sense. My cutscenes would happen, they would do that, and then they would randomly, like, get skippy, which is normal, because you're like, I'm having that issue too. But then, the next mission would start, and the cutscene would still be playing.
Oh, yeah. That's right. You tell me about that.
And I'm hearing, like, double-layered audio.
Like, that's really weird. Like, I did not come across that in the
And it happened a lot. And I was like, maybe it just needs to be uninstalled, reinstalled. Did that. I didn't play the campaign until literally this year because I kept having the issue. At one point, I said, you know what? No, it was the last time I played it when I was trying to get through it. I was like, you know what? I'm not letting him beat me. Not letting him beat me. So what I did, I just skipped every cutscene. I don't know what the fuck happened in 2019 because the game didn't want me to know what happened in 2019. Eventually, I think you could go back and watch the cinematic, so I did. So I understand a lot of it was like a ploy on Farah's brother and like their kind of like joint venture through their struggles and whatnot to get to destroy this militia organization whose name I can't fully remember. Because it's 2019. It's not forgettable, but it doesn't. Right now, it doesn't hold a candle to at least to 2019's. I mean, 2019 doesn't hold a candle to Modern Warfare 2022's campaign.
Yeah, I feel like the story was a lot more coherent in 22. I knew what was going on. I knew who the bad guys were. I knew why we were doing what we were doing.
Yeah.
They did a pretty good job of keeping the plot like all the way through.
Yeah, very straightforward. For me, I feel like, and this is kind of just a fatigue setting in sort of thing, I do like the campaign for Modern Warfare 2022. The biggest issue that I could say is that now that there's been so many campaigns for Call of Duty, because I don't even know which Call of Duty this is at this point. 15? I don't fucking know. There's been a lot of Call of Duty video games. And they all have pretty big set piece moments, like storming the beaches of Normandy and Call of Duty 1, the Russian monument rush in Call of Duty 2, where you have your support team and they're getting shot at and you have to like rush through them in a snowy climate. Call of Duty 3 existing. Call of Duty 4's nuclear explosion, or the AC-130, or all gillied up.
20,000 people used to live here. Now it's a ghost town.
Black Ops 1, flying through like the jungle in a fucking jet helicopter or something, shooting at everything. Crazy as fuck. Or woods being captured, and then eventually the numbers, Mason. And the list could go on and on.
No Russian.
Russian from Modern Warfare 2, or even the Swerve twist ending, because it's old now, where, what the fuck was his name? The commander shoots you in the fucking face.
Oh, Shepard.
Shepard shoots you in the fucking face. 2013's huge, not 2013, Modern Warfare 3's huge, like, buildings toppling over in the city with big nuclear explosions happening. Just so many more points. Even, like, Advanced Warfare, where it's like, no, that's Black Ops 2 that I'm thinking of, where you're getting chased by drones through, like, the bridge.
Yeah, that's Black Ops 2. Advanced Warfare, I think, was really dope.
Advanced Warfare had a big grappling section.
It had grappling sections. You were in mechs, like exosuits, doing stuff. You're on the bridge, like the Golden Gate Bridge, when it like snaps and breaks.
That's
apart.
What I was thinking of. Yes.
That Kevin Spacey, before we even knew he was a creep, was amazing.
Before he was a diddler. Yeah.
Well,
okay, he was probably always a diddler, but before we knew about him diddling.
Exactly. That was probably my favorite campaign for a long time too.
And even and then it started to teeter off, because I could not tell you anything about Infinite Warfare's campaign because I didn't play it, which is bad because I've heard nothing but amazing things about it.
Yeah, I heard there was cool spaceship battles, kind of like Star Fox.
I heard the whole thing about that game is that the game isn't, to be fair, Infinite Warfare is not a bad game. I actually relatively don't think it's a bad game. I think the problem was the time frame when it came out. People were like, we really don't want more jetpack stuff.
Yeah, people were pretty, I think, fatigued as well by that time, Call of Duty and all the futuristic stuff. And I don't know, for the multiplayer, I couldn't really get into for Infinite Warfare.
It's just Black Ops 3 with another coat of paint on it.
Yeah, I suppose so.
That's literally all it is. I mean, Black Ops 3 did it better because the guns were better, the maps were better, and it was a much more vibrant game to look at. This was Infinity Ward doing the space stuff. And the space dynamic was interesting, but the color palette was very muted.
Yeah,
it wasn't expressive. There was some reddish orange maps in space, and that's cool and all. But it was still a lot of forgettable stuff up until I think there was one map where you were on a space station and you could see a nova happening right outside of it, and that's fucking cool. But it was still whatever. And then World War II came out, and people were like, why?
Yeah.
And World War II sucked ass when it came out. But Sledgehammer actually did make that game better over time. They added a lot of fun things to it to make it good. And then we got Modern Warfare 2019. And then Cold War, which was rushed.
Yeah, Cold War was rushed. I liked the multiplayer for the most part. There were definitely some frustrations with it.
We're talking campaign.
Okay, we're talking campaign. Then
I didn't even touch Cold War's campaign.
The campaign was actually pretty cool. You had various different options, and you could choose to tackle missions certain ways, and there was a lot of openness to it.
I didn't even touch it.
It was a bit.
I think
different.
I started it, did one mission. Once they gave me choice, I was like, I don't care. I was going through fatigue. I was like, I don't want to play this and give options on how to tackle mission structure, and I was like, that's neat and all, but I just don't want to. I really don't. I was like, I don't even know how it is. It's probably fine. Vanguard, I think I may have done one mission in Vanguard story, and I was like, this is cool, but I'm here to play the multiplayer. Yeah. And then I was upset because the multiplayer was very mediocre. And they had to, and the only way that they could fix that was by taking everything that they said they weren't going to do and throwing it in the game because it was the only way to make that game enjoyable.
Yeah.
And it's still not perfect.
Yeah, and the campaign Vanguard, I just was like, I'm over this World War II.
Everybody
stuff.
was.
Like,
Everybody's so sick of it. They were sick of it when World War II came out. And then they said, here's Vanguard. And it's like, did you not hear us 3 years ago? It was like, no. No, we did not. And it's
I really think that with this one, it's more of a, I guess I would say maybe it's a return to form for just a fun campaign to play through.
I think it's good. I do have some high points. I think the Amsterdam segment is pretty cool. There's a couple stealth missions in the game where you have to be a little sneakier than normal. There's another like sniping mission, which is really cool. A lot of bullet drop, and just the way you handle that movement is really interesting. There's a huge vehicle section where like at one point you're hanging upside down on a helicopter shooting. I thought that was sick. And of course, like the ending was really good. Only thing I don't like about the ending was there was a boss fight prior to like the big ending with like a tank.
Yeah, that
and I was like,
so
this
annoying.
sucks.
It was so annoying. I'm like,
at one point I just said fuck it and found out the locations I needed to go to, got my stuff, and was like bang 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 bang, and I was like, great.
God, it was pissing me off so bad. Like my other big criticism with this game is that I feel like a lot of these levels just overstay their welcome a little bit. Like some of them could have ended like 5 minutes sooner than they did.
Depends. I mean, there's like at the very least maybe one, which is the vehicle section I mentioned earlier. I think that could have ended earlier because at one point you're just shooting cars left and right. And I'm like, are we gonna stop anytime soon?
Yeah, this is a
They're
long
throwing mines.
This is a long road, man.
Okay.
Like, oh my god.
And
They're throwing like it's so video gamey though. Like it did put a smile on my face because that's the moment that game jumps the shark, and it's just it's a video game.
That's what I like.
Video game.
I think when I started it, I think I mentioned that I hope the game does more crazy stuff like they did in the original Modern Warfare 2019, where there was like a section where you're on snowmobiles and like you're chasing people down like an icy river. I thought that segment was so amazing. This is comparable to that. It's very comparable to it. It's not like that. I think the biggest issue is that past Modern Warfares did such crazy shit that now they're trying to go for such a reserved,
more realistic
tone.
Take that it's hard to.
But at the same time, it's like you guys have to know that you're still a video game, and I understand your grounded military kind of like aesthetic, but still just make it a video game.
Yeah, do some crazy stuff in it. But I mean, overall, I enjoy my time with it. I wouldn't say skip it.
No, I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, same.
I'd give it a thumbs up. I think it's fine. You can probably blaze through it in like 5-6 hours. I will let you know that we were both playing on regular difficulty, and the computer AI is a lot more relentless than normal.
Holy shit, yes.
Their vision is impeccable.
Everybody has an eagle eye. Anyone with a shotgun is...
They're a god. And I'm like, holy fuck. You know that stealth mission? I'm not going to spoil this, but there's like a section where in the stealth mission right before you hit like the river that's kind of like flooded. There was like a building to the side, and I was like, I'm sick of getting caught. I found a shotgun, and I just waited, and because once you shoot, they know you're coming. Or they know where you're at. So I just let them funnel up the stairs, and I got like 10 of them dead in one shot. I was
what the fuck?
I was like, fuck this. And I'm like, great. Pow. Reload. Pow. Reload.
Wow.
And they funneled in like stupid fucking ants. And I was like, bet. Make it easier for me. So you know what? All gripes aside, it's pretty. It's fun. It's a nice little romp. I like it because you also get a chance to play a lot of the multiplayer weapons. So if you haven't had a chance to play the game, and I know multiplayer is going to be a primary focus for a lot of people, it's a great opportunity to play the campaign, get adjusted to the way the guns feel, physics, dynamics. It's really cool. I do want to note, because since multiplayer will be the next big thing that they're releasing, because that's the game. Single player, multiplayer. Multiplayer has more than just one component. They have the competitive multiplayer, player versus player. They also have Spec Ops, which is like cooperative mission-based, like things you can tackle. 2019 had it as well. I think it was like limited to PS4 at one point, and then PC, and everybody else got it later. But by that point, it was like too little, too late. To my knowledge, they're not doing that for Modern Warfare 2. So thankfully, everybody can play some co-op. It's a nice little breathing room, a nice segue from like always having to fight people. So who knows if experience carries over? We'll like let you know for sure. And the rumor, I think, because somebody got into the files for the single player release, is that there's also going to be a zombies as well.
Really?
I think so. It's not that Infinity Ward doesn't know how to do zombies, because I think all of them know how to do zombies in some way, shape, and form.
Mm-hmm.
Proven to be the worst right now is Sledgehammer, because Vanguard zombies, fucking awful. Apparently, you know the zombie structure of round base, that just don't exist. It's an open area, and it's just like, well, you kill them, and then you complete a quest, and then they keep coming. It's really rough.
Wow.
Especially because I know you don't care for zombies that much, and neither do I. Like, we'll play it, and we're like, it's fun. You know, it's a diversion from what we're mainly playing. Zombie players fucking hated it. I think I was watching Dismo, who's a Call of Duty YouTuber, and he was like, yeah, you know, the camo grind is what his thing is. He'll play the game, get camos for all his weapons, get the master camo. Makes sense. The zombies had a master camo, and it looked good. He was like, zombies mode is so bad, I'm not doing that. He was like, I fucking will never do it. And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty bad. Everybody I know is like, it's bad. Black Ops, traditional kind of zombie thing, on top of like a new zombie thing, perfectly fine. Infinity Ward's last zombie thing that they did was for Infinite Warfare. I did play that because it was set in like an 80s aesthetic in an arcade, like amusement park thing. Mm-hmm. It was fun. It was pretty legit. I liked it. I don't know what the setting or aesthetic is. I don't know if it'll be there at launch. I don't know if it's going to be something they add on later. But zombies is pretty much going to be kind of in the game at some point.
Okay. Well, I guess it makes sense. I mean, this is the last Call of Duty that's yearly. Like, I think they're taking a break after this one.
Yeah, this is going to be a 2-year cycle game.
So this one's going to have a long tail on it. So it'll be interesting to see how they keep this game alive beyond what the usual cycle has been for every year.
Yeah. I mean, because, you know, they're going to support this game's multiplayer. Mm-hmm. I'm sure, I think Spec Ops was probably going to get some, like, additional co-op stuff to run too, which is fine. And then I believe Warzone's coming out in November. So Warzone 2 will be a part of it. Yeah. Also, I didn't even realize this until somebody, I think I was watching a review and they pointed out, but you play in the Warzone, the fictional Warzone 2 map in the campaign, like as a shish or something like that. I don't know how to properly pronounce it, but it's a fictional area of like Mexico or something like that.
Oh, that's going to be a part of the. Okay.
That's where Warzone 2 is technically taking place, apparently.
Okay. Oh yeah, that fictional Mexican city or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, Los Alamos or something.
No, not Los Alamos, but that is also fictional. It's something that begins with an A and a Z. It's something very weird, Azara or something like that. I don't know. It's in the game. That's the campaign features where Warzone 2 is going to be. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into Warzone 2.
I'm very interested to see the changes because it had a lot of positive feedback from people saying this is very pretty and interesting, but it had a lot more negative feedback saying it's very clunky. Very, very clunky.
Oh, it's going to be one of those things that you see grow over time.
Yeah. So, I mean, but that was for the Call of Duty event because they didn't have a beta for it. So that was the big chance for people to kind of get their hands on it.
Yeah.
So hopefully the feedback that they got from them was to state that, you know, you need to find a way to make this work better. It's not, I don't think anybody had a really big issue of like backpack size and you finding backpacks because that's fine. They did that in Blackout and it worked fine. Finding different shield values is also fine in my opinion. I think people were confused about having NPCs on the map because there was no real easy way to identify them as NPCs versus player characters. So they would run in and they'd be like, oh fuck, and then they would kill them immediately. Like, was that a computer? So I kept seeing that a lot. But I think they were just like navigating through the menus when you would like kill a player or loot something was extremely clunky. And in a battle royale game, the worst thing you want to do is be stuck trying to loot a bazillion years like a weapon attachment.
Yeah, no, you got to have good menus. You can get in and get out.
So here's to hoping that everything works out fine for them. But Modern Warfare 2's campaign, thumbs up, and we're excited to see where it goes from there.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, like we said, it's a very short news week, as there is no news this week. So we're going to go right into our Game Pass picks of the week.
Pick of the week. Pick of the week.
My Game Pass pick of the week is Rubber Bandits. Rubber Bandits is a party game that you can play online where you play as a criminal thief who had just escaped jail. And what do? Well, you do mischievous activities with other weird Rubbermaid people and fun, weird mini games like throwing bombs at them, collecting the money, and trying to escape. But what's perfect is if you escape with the money, you come back and as a police officer of the law to stop your Rubber Bandit asshole friends. I think it's very fun. It has crossplay with PC players and Xbox. It's on Game Pass, and I think normally if you want to purchase it, it goes for around $20 to $25. I highly recommend giving it a shot as it is a fun game that you can play locally or online.
Groovy. I dig it. My Game Pass pick of the week is going to be Batman Arkham Knight.
I wonder why.
Because, that game is pretty damn good. Came out back in 2015?
Something like that.
Because let me tell you, you don't want to play the new one. Batman, not even called Batman, just Gotham Knights.
It's just Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights, don't play it.
It's pretty bad.
It's pretty damn bad. None of the reviews have been good. I have no desire to put my hands on it. It didn't look right months ago when we saw the previews. I'm like, And
it didn't look any better. And boy, howdy, it's not.
It's a real shame. So instead of playing that game, just hop on Game Pass if you haven't done it and just play Batman Arkham Knight. Even that game from 2015 or so, you put it side by side with Gotham Knights and you can't tell which game is newer because that's how good Arkham Knight looks and how not Gotham Knights is. So just play Arkham Knight.
And if you haven't played the Batman games, by all means, Gotham Knights is not the one that you should be playing. There's Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Those two are in a bundle that you can play on your Xbox Series S or X. It's not on Game Pass anymore, so I recommend you pick it up if you haven't played them at all, because they are stellar games, some of the best comic book superhero games ever made. And then Arkham Knight is on Game Pass, and it is also phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
So, get those in your system. With that said, it's time to round out the show with the reigning, defending, Universal Guess That Game champion, Foxxy Steve.
Yeah, I'm on a roll, baby. I'm feeling hot.
This man has literally, I think, got 4, maybe 5 correct in a row.
Yes, sir. I'm badass.
It's funny to me because it's like, man, he was like, I hate this shit. I hate it. And then it's just like, pow, 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 pow.
It's stressful. It's stressful as hell.
It is stressful. But it's fun. It's a nice little treat. This one, I like to call this hard mode.
Oh, fuck me.
Because to me, I think you could guess it, but you better get the questions right.
Oh no, that's the thing I'm the worst at. It's the questions.
Because these are going to be the things that bring you closest to getting it right.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
1 minute on the clock, and go.
Is this a current franchise?
No.
Okay. Is this an action game?
Technically.
Is the main character a human?
No.
Is there multiple main characters?
Technically.
Is this a console exclusive?
Yes.
Is this an Xbox console exclusive?
No.
Okay. Is it a franchise that came out before the PS2, Xbox, GameCube generation?
No.
Okay. Is this a GameCube exclusive?
Yes.
Okay. Is it a fighting game?
Technically.
Oh boy. Oh Jesus. Technically. Is it a Nintendo published title?
No.
Is it a oh boy. Ugh. Oof.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Your questions were like all over the place.
No, try to narrow it down. It's tough. Okay, so it's a sort of a fighting game.
On GameCube.
On GameCube exclusively.
Yep.
Exclusively on GameCube, fighting game. Not published by Nintendo.
Yep.
So it's not Smash. came out on GameCube. That's a fighting game. That's only on GameCube. Oh. Oh no. This might be the first loss because I didn't really have a GameCube for very long. This is gonna be a weird one to toss out, and I don't even think it's exclusive. Is it Beautiful Joe Red Hot Rumble?
It's not. And Beautiful Joe Red Hot Rumble is also on PS2.
Okay, see, I didn't think so. Okay, what is it?
Ultimate Muscle.
Oh, fuck. I would not have gotten that.
That's what I'm like,
there's
you
no
may
way.
get it.
Nope.
I thought you could. I'm like, he'll probably get it. He just has to guess the right things. You were getting close, but you couldn't probably, like, guess.
I didn't think to pivot to, like, wrestling or anything like that. And even if I did, it would have been the first one I picked. I would have went with, like, a WrestleMania or a Day of Reckoning or something.
Right.
Ultimate Muscle is just not something I've played a lot of.
It's weird because it's like a fighting game, but it's not.
It's a wrestling game.
But it's not.
It's kind of like how you put. It's like Def Jam. It's that kind of.
It's very in the line of Def Jam.
Yeah.
Like Def Jam Vendetta specifically, and I guess Fight for You to an extent. It has health bars. You fight. There's aerial combos. It's very weird, but it's based around wrestling, space wrestling, and Kid Muscle is not human because he's from outer space.
No, you seen his lips? Anyway.
That's not his lips.
What is that, his ass?
No, he's wearing a mask, and that's just his mouth.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. You should watch Ultimate Muscle.
I guess I should.
It's very funny. It's very stupid. Did I mention it's fucking stupid? This man farts his way to victory. It's great. It is very cool. I like Ultimate Muscle personally, but you know, it's a schlocky, very stupid show.
Well, shit. There goes my streak.
The streak has ended. I'm Bork Laser today.
Like, here's the championship. Just take it.
Cool, it ain't leave. Well, with that said, we'd like to thank you for your time and thank you for watching or listening. And once again, if you're a watcher of the product, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Hitting the notification bell is very good for us and even better for you, because that way you get to keep up to date whenever we release any new content. And of course, it ain't a whole lot, but I mean, you get it. You get to get it. It was a sentence that came out, and I was like, man, it was horrible sentence structuring.
Yeah.
You get to get it.
Yeah, the wheels came off that car real fast.
I was like,
that was rough.
You get to know when it's coming live and direct too.
There you go. There it is.
And if you're an audio listener, you get to do the same.
Yeah, you get to listen to all of our podcasts on all the podcast services around the globe, including Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple, and Google Podcasts. Be sure to give us a 5-star rating, as it's much appreciated, and I'll love you forever. Mwah.
And with that said, thank you guys once again, and we'll catch you next time on Jump In, Play More.
Deuces.